What's up? I'm Riley.
I'm Anna.
And welcome to another week of Ball State Latin Dance Club. This week, we have a bunch of tips and tricks to make your salsa look and feel better all around.
So without further ado,
let's get to it.
Before we get into our tips and tricks, the important thing to note is that we are going to be showing what not to do before we show what you should be doing. So we will be showing exaggerated versions of some common errors that people may make, and the alternative on how to correct that and make your dancing look and feel better. Disclaimer! Even though we are just using salsa to demonstrate these tips and tricks, don't be fooled, they can be applied to all Latin dancing, especially styles such as bachata and cha-cha. Also, some of these tips can translate over to completely different styles, such as swing, and will just improve your dancing overall. Okay, roll clip. First error that we will be talking about is turning your feet inward or keeping them parallel. When you're dancing, if you turn your feet inward, it's going to make you very off balance and it just doesn't look good. You can keep your feet more of a parallel stance. This will add some more stability, but it still won't look its best and you can still lose balance kind of easily. The best option is to have turnout with your feet. You want your heels to come together and your toes to be pointing out in opposite directions. This will give you a more stable base and it will look better when you are dancing. Once you get turnout nailed down, you can begin to focus on rolling your feet from toe to heel as you step. This will feel a little bit weird at first because normally we walk heel to toe, but if you are able to focus on this rolling down from toe to heel every single time you step, it will allow for a lot more fun styling options and make your dance look smoother and better overall. Another thing to avoid is taking large steps. Your feet should never step wider than your shoulders and should remain under your body. This is because when you are taking smaller steps, you have more precision in your movements and you ensure that you will stay out of your partner's space and give them enough room to do their dance moves. If you are stepping really large, then you have more likelihood of getting in the way and of making it harder to go through with the move, and also the dancing will just look more disjointed and awkward. So the key to making it look good and feel good is just taking small steps that stay underneath your body. Along similar lines, you'll want to make sure that you are changing weight every step that you take. Rather than just tapping your foot and replacing it, make sure that every time you step, you fully place the weight on that foot and lift it off of the other, and then switch back before stepping again. This is important because if you do not change your weight, it's a lot easier to get off of tempo and to forget which foot that you should be stepping with. Also, changing your weight every time you step makes the dance look a lot smoother and more Latin. This is because when you are changing your weight, it affects your knee and hip movement, so when you tap, it just looks really stiff and awkward. Moving on from footwork, let's talk about how to move your body. So we'll start out with hips, as it is one of the best ways to style and make your dance look more Latin. A lot of times beginners will look at Latin dancing and try to emulate the hip movement by moving their torso or by just shifting their hips from side to side. However, this is counterproductive as it can get you off beat, it doesn't really go in line with the music, and a lot of times just looks kind of awkward. If you want to get that hip movement in your dancing, the best way is to start with your feet. You want to do the technique of rolling from toe to heel when you step, and this will actually cause the Latin hips. This works because when you're stepping from your toe to heel, you are rolling your legs and knees in a way that will make your hips naturally move in a figure eight pattern. As long as you are keeping your toe to heel movement and taking those small steps especially, you'll get that natural figure eight pattern, and then you can choose to accentuate it or exaggerate it from there if you wish. However, you need this solid base in order to have good Latin hips. As for dancing with a partner, one of the most important things is the hand connection. If your hands are really stiff and holding on too tight to your partner's, held up too high, or just at an awkward angle, it's going to make your dancing a lot harder because the connection through the hands is how the lead is going to signal to the follow what to do. Also, when a lead or follow is holding on too tight, it makes it difficult to do things like turns and other leads that require more movement in the hands. So the way to do a better handhold in salsa and other Latin styles is to have a low, relaxed handhold with the follow's hands on top of the leads, not clenching, just resting. This low handshake position is what is going to allow for the best communication between leads and follows and for flexibility for doing the movements. Alongside this hand connection, it's important that you keep your muscles relaxed. If you have all of your muscles tensed, especially through your arms, shoulders, and neck, you are going to feel very awkward and uncomfortable while you are dancing. This connection is going to impact how you move and how your partner is going to move with you. If you're tense, you can't feel the signals from your lead as well, and if you are a lead, you will not be able to send signals as easily to your follow. So as long as you keep your muscles low and relaxed, you will be able to have a better connection, to feel the signals between partners, and to have a more comfortable dancing situation. Plus, it'll just look a lot better too. The final tip on how to move your body is to not add in extra movement for your shoulders and your hands. If you're adding in this movement on your shoulders and your hands, it's not only going to look and feel a little bit awkward, but it'll be confusing as you are communicating with your partner. Instead of adding in this extra movement and just making the situation awkward, what you want to do is let your body be what moves your hands slightly. The movement will come from your hips and legs and through your torso rather than from your shoulders and arms. Your hands will sway back and forth a little bit, but you do not need to add any extra movement. Instead, just let it flow.
Before we head out, we have some final tips and tricks for you.
First off, when you get off beat, happens a lot, just remember, you're never more than one step away from getting back on beat. Just remain calm. You can just stop what you're doing and pick it back up. No harm done.
Just have some fun with it.
Just have fun.
Yeah.
And we hope all these tips were helpful.
You can see us on our social media on Instagram, Facebook, and obviously this YouTube channel, and it'll all be linked in the description. Okay. Bye. Baby.